Doyinsola David joins us on the show this morning, former housemate, Big Brother Niger, and also brand influencer, television host as well, medical radiographer. That's the part that a lot of people always wonder, wait a minute, are you talking about the same person? So help us to reconcile that. When last were you at the hospital? the hospital checking the x-rays and the rest?
I mean, no, I haven't practiced in a while since I was on the show, but I still go to the hospital just because I try to remind myself about, my field. If you stay away from it for too long, you'd forget it. So I go just to remind myself, but I'm not practicing at the moment.
So that's your plan B?
No, actually, this is my plan B. That's my plan A.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can actually read the X. What is a radiographer?
Okay, so I'm a radiographer. So what we do is diagnosis, the diagnostic aspect of medicine. Yeah. We don't really read we don't interpret the scans.
Right, so
we carry out the scans. Yeah. But because I've practiced for 5 years before the show, I can tell certain things, but I'm not the best at it.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, so yes, it's official. You might see her in the hospital one of these days, maybe even start your own.
Yeah, actually, that's the plan.
As well. Fantastic. And that takes me to the point. A lot of people see you on the reality TV show on social media, and the thinking is usually, these are people who they just want to trend, basically. They're always trending, and they can do anything to trend. And there's a lot of questions about what really goes on behind the scenes. What does this mean to you? Does the average influencer see this as a do or die? I have to find a way to always be in the news, either for the right or the wrong reasons, or it's just you living your life and being yourself?
I can't speak for everyone. I can speak for myself. I know that I've never said anything just for the reason that, I want to trend. No, I've never done that. I don't know if anybody does that. But sometimes, you can share your opinion and people will just be like, why are you thinking like this? I don't think it's anything intentional from my own end. It's never been intentional. It's just what it is. Sometimes you just say stuff that doesn't sit well with people and then it goes viral.
Yeah, because the premise of that question, I can't remember all of the things, but you guys trend every other day. It's either you're trending or Tacha is trending or somebody's trending. So you go to the trend, okay, there's football, there's reality TV star, there's all of this. Right. So some of the things that maybe you say or do causes cultural unease. Does it bother you?
It only bothers me if I personally don't agree with what I said at the time. So there's certain times you go on an interview and you're really overwhelmed. They ask a question, you don't really take your time to think about your answer, or the interviewer is being and they're trying to get words out of your mouth and you fall for it. So when that happens and I'm not comfortable with my answer, then I'm troubled. But if I'm comfortable with my answer, even if the whole Nigeria is unsettled, I really don't care.
Oh, really? Yeah. Even if the whole country burns, literally?
No, I'm not saying...
No, okay, I'm saying that to say, because you say, okay, so for instance, you had said, maybe at the spur of the moment, you had made a statement that you didn't process properly, and then, whoa, you see yourself trending all over the place. Right. Do you go back to retract, okay, this is not how I meant it, just to defend yourself and keep your reputation?
So the thing is this, the more you try to defend something, the more you put more attention on that thing. That's something I've come to realize. So sometimes it's just best to leave it. Sometimes I try, depending on how serious it is, sometimes I try to, correct, this is not what I meant, but people are still going to take whatever they want to take out of it. So I don't really spend that much time correcting stuff.
And it's significant that you are comfortable in your outspokenness, and you've had cause to talk about how it costs you not winning the reality TV show. And there's a big debate on the propriety of the TV show. But speak to us about the lessons that that show offers in terms of cohabiting with people in the house, because every time there is a season, there's a lot to talk about, the strategy that housemates have, to survive till the very last day and probably be the winner of the reality TV show. But what are the lessons that, one can take away from cohabiting with co-housemates?
I'd say the first thing that comes to mind is, before you go on that show, you are only limited to a certain type of people that you're exposed to. For me, for example, I'd never met certain type of people that I met on the show before in my real life. So I think the show just shows you, oh, there's a life, there's world outside what you know. Like the people that are not living like you, that their reality is different from yours. So it just teaches you how to understand people, live with people, and just how to navigate life in general. And also I think it teaches you how to cope under immense pressure, because I don't know that there's anything that can be more intense than being in that house. So it just teaches you how to navigate life under very, very serious pressure.
But then there are some times that the strategy can be questionable. I read one of your interviews, and you admitted to deploying some form of manipulation to get the head of house role towards one of the housemates. So talk to us about that.
No, I think maybe whoever released that interview, probably they paraphrased it however they wanted to, but that's not what I said. What I said was I wanted it to be a TV-worthy moment. So I knew I was going to win, because obviously it was just one other person left, and he was obviously shaking. I was still standing. I wasn't even tired, but like I just felt like it was going to be boring if we just stood there playing the game. So I wanted to do some form of like negotiation, bargaining. I've watched like a lot of like reality TV shows, especially like foreign ones, and I see how intense they are. So I wanted to give Nigerians a moment like that.
And give them, you did.
And I did.
Maybe we'll talk about this later, and we always try to link this conversation with governance. You were head of house, right,
yes,
at some point.
once.
And someone will say, well, you were head of house. How about you vie for some leadership position in government? That should be on your CV, head of house, big brother. So if I handle this well. But maybe we'll get to that, link it with government. But after the reality TV show, I wonder how life has been for you, which is part of the conversation we wanted to have. The reality TV show, yes, gave you a platform,
right.
Drew a lot of attention to you, essentially gave you a seed, and
right.
then you had to maybe plant it and then water it,
right.
but it was an opportunity. So how is life after that reality TV show? Is life tough? Because the cost of living is very, very interesting right now, narrowed to the dollar and the rest. So how is life after a reality TV show?
I don't think there's one answer to that question, because it depends on what aspect of life I'm talking about. If we're to talk finance, for example, I would say it's a lot better than it was before I went on the show. Of course, there's more money now. I keep saying it, there's so much money on social media. People make a lot of money on social media.
And you make a lot of money on social media.
I think it's a bit tacky to talk about money or how much money I make, but I'm good.
No, I'm not going to ask
good.
you how much you make. In fact, you could tell us. No one is listening.
Oh, really?
We won't tell anybody. That's how it always says.
I'm
But just
not
to give a
talk.
sense of the opportunities, because that's what this conversation is also about.
Right.
There are young people out there who are listening, who are looking for opportunities. So you can speak to that as well, absolutely.
Oh, right. Like, if there's any young person out there that's thinking, oh, how can I make money from social media? I can categorically tell you there's a lot of money on social media. There are brands that are willing to, pay you so much money just to bring awareness to their brands or to whatever it is, service they're providing or product they're selling, and people make a lot of money from that. But you asked about how life has been.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about finance, it's been good. I can't complain, I thank God. But the mental health part of post-show, I keep saying it, if you're not like mentally grounded, and you're not sure about who you are and what type of person you are, and maybe you still have like issues with like your mental health, I would not advise you to go on that show, because as much as it could make you, it can also break you, because now there's a lot of like criticism about your life. Like everybody has an opinion about what you wear, what you do, who you date, what you say, things that regular people would do and nobody would care. So just know that once you come out of the show, you don't really have freedom of speech like that. So yeah, it's good and bad, but I'll say the good has outweighed the bad.
So do you think that for this generation, social media is putting people under tremendous pressure that maybe never existed or we didn't know existed, but with social media we know it exists? Because I watch a lot of young people on social media. There seems to be this drive about, oh, I want to achieve this when I'm this year, when I'm this age, and when I'm this age, and all of that. You are in the space. That is your forte. This is where you play your game. So do you think that the pressure is a lot, and how can people really manage it? I know you've answered it in passing, but I needed to re-emphasize.
I wouldn't say social media is putting pressure on people. What I would say is people are putting pressure on themselves by comparing their lives with other people's lives. When you look at somebody's highlights, what we put on social media is our highlights. I'm not going to put myself crying on social media or myself losing a deal. I'm going to announce a deal on social media. I'm going to put on my best outfit on social media. So if you, as a young girl or young guy, you're sitting in your house and you're comparing my highlights to your regular day-to-day, that would put you under immense pressure. So that's what I would say puts pressure on people. It's not really social media, because social media, as much as it shows you, oh, there's so much you can achieve out of life and you can make out of life, it just depends on what you decide to take out of it. You can look at...
But being a reality TV star, is it not fair enough that you put out reality, not just endorsements, how good you look at your pictures, like
I woke up
fire,
like this.
I woke up like this. What about doing without the makeup and all? Just to give the young people a sense of, okay, this is not all shades of gold.
Right. The thing is this, I am a reality TV star. I was on a reality TV show. At the time, I was expected to live my life in front of people. Now, I'm not really expected to live every day of my life in front of people. I have the right to choose what I decide to put out there. But there are times that I, share certain things with people, like, oh, there was a day I was having a really bad day. I put it on my Snapchat. I'm like, oh, I'm having a bad day. I lost the deal, just to let people know that everything is not peaches and roses all the time. But they cannot get the true every day of my life. They can't get it, because I'm just not going to put that type of stuff out there. And because there's also a lot of judgment, especially in this part of the world. If you put out something that people should say, oh, you know what, I sympathize with this person, or I've learned something, they'll attack you for it. So we're not really encouraging people to put out the reality. Well, we feed people what they want to see, and what they want to see is the glitz and glamour. So we show them that.
So does this attack make you combat ready all the time? Tell us the truth.
No, I don't think the attack makes me combat ready. I'm naturally combat ready all the time. Yeah, so if you're bringing it funny, you get it funny. That's just my personality. It has nothing to do with social media.
I'm sorry, what does that mean, please?
What does that
mean?
Like if you were to say something funny, that I would think that, oh, you're trying to say this to mock me or to get a reaction out of me, you wouldn't like my response too. So if you can dish it, you should be able to take it. That's just the way I live my life.
Well, I'm tempted to speak a Yoruba proverb right now, but I don't think I can translate it, so I'll just leave it. But, simply put, no grief for anybody, as we began saying at the beginning of this year. But you've said something very, very significant, about, how we show our destination and we don't show our journey to people on social media, and we shouldn't be carried away. Particularly those people who see you as a role model. But there's also something that is just as significant, which is what the reality TV show has done for you. I mean, you just said what your plan A was and your plan B, and eventually you would start your own medical laboratory. But first, it was the Big Brother show that brought you this far. Right. So it speaks to a lot of possibilities about the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want you to speak to us about that, and particularly about the hue and cry anytime the Big Brother show is about to start. People talk about the propriety, the content, that is not too appropriate for broadcasts some of the times that come from the Big Brother show. How can that be changed such that it can be more acceptable, to the generality of viewers?
The thing is, first of all, I want to speak on the platform. It's an amazing platform, just like you said. I would forever be grateful to that platform, because I would say it changed my life. If you're looking to... I was really bored with my career, and I wanted something, that allowed me to express my personality a bit more, and that's what the show gave to me. But what I would say is, before going on that show, you need to have a clear plan of what you want to do when you come out. Because, it has given you this platform, this exposure. You need to make something out of it. That exposure is not going to make you money. So it's a seed you either choose to water, just like you said, and then you reap the fruits. But if you just go on the show and you come out and you don't even have an idea what you want to do with your life, you're going to go back to where you were before. And people talking about the content that they get from the show, I really get confused when people say, oh, why are we doing this show? What does it really teach us? I think there's so much to gain from that show. We have a lot of quiz, competitions, presentations that people can learn from, even like just the day-to-day, how to deal with people, how to navigate life. That show also teaches you a lot about yourself. So as a viewer, you take whatever you want to take out of it. You can decide to focus on when we're being educated. You can decide to focus on when we're partying. You can decide to focus on, oh, this is somebody I relate to. I like the way this person is. You can, take something from what you're watching, something positive. So at the end of the day, I don't know that there's anything that they can do that would make it, this is a serious show that everybody should watch. It's just watch it and take whatever it is that you can take out of it. That's just it.
Okay. Let me just ask you.
Are you ready for your trivia? I wanted to throw in one.
Okay.
No, go ahead. No,
all
go
right.
ahead.
So just before we get into the trivia, starter pack for content creation, thriving on social media. What are the if you could mention 5 things that you need to have a lock on if you thrive
on social media?
Yeah, to thrive on. What would those 5 things be?
I'd say the first thing is you have to get rid of fear. The fear of, let me not say this or let me not do this. People will judge me. The truth is not everybody would accept you. You would have your audience. You need to be strong-minded and say, okay, you know what, this is what I want to put out. And I'm going to put it out regardless of whatever comes. Of course, there should be balance. You should also check, okay, is this too negative? So just get rid of fear.
What about the intellectual rigor? All of that. Does that go into the process of putting out those things as well?
The what? Sorry, can you
intellectual rigor. So I want to put out something. Naturally, if I want to put out something, an average person, you do some research. If you're putting out data, for example, you can do research. People can just say, everybody in Nigeria is mad.
No. Of course, you should check what you're putting out there because you have an audience, right? You can't just put out anything. But when you're sure that this is what I want to put out there, stand your ground. Because at first, people might not be accepting of it, but they'll come around. So I'd say that's number one. Then find your niche. What do you want to be known for? Are you a fashion influencer? Are you a lifestyle influencer? Find your niche. Are you going to be somebody that talks about like the corporate world, corporate businesses? That's important. And what else? I can only think of 2 things right now.
Okay. 2 words, actually.
Yeah.
So let's get
the brand.
Tuesday trivia.
The glamour as well.
Wants to bring the trivia.
The glamour,
but there's one question on my chest. I need to let it out.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you live on the island or the mainland?
Oh, yeah. We're not talking about this thing again. Just so you know. We are not going to get to talk about it
because those are some of the things that are causing what I termed as cultural unease. When someone say, I can't date a guy from the mainland. Are you comfortable with such assertions, or you just maybe think that it's just for traction or just vibing?
Have you watched the interview where I said that? I'm sure you've watched it. That's what you're asking.
I'm not even sure.
I
don't know whether it's you. No, you're not the only one. You're not the only one who said it.
Oh, really?
I think it wasn't even you I was referring to. I think, what's her name now? I forgot.
I'm not sure I believe you.
No. Another reality TV star came to me. The one that was doing with, what's her name now? The DJ girl. I've forgotten her full name now.
Tolani Baj?
I think so. I was thinking she was the one. So maybe I'm mixing both of you. So,
no, I
but
was
were you the one that said it?
Yeah, I was the one that did the interview.
I thought it was Tolani actually.
Yeah, but I just think that topic is overflogged at this point. Whoever needs more clarification on that topic can go back to that interview and watch it. But I'm not going to speak on it.
You can make the clarification. Won't tell anybody.
No, I'm not interested in having that conversation.
She says she's combat ready, so it's fine. I will take it at that, But these are some of the conversations we look at and we say, okay, young people are listening. Are they going to assimilate or condense this at the end of the day? Hey,
can I say something on that?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Love has no demography. It has no region. You can't find love anywhere. Living on the mainland, living on the island doesn't mean that you're poor or you're not poor.
There you go.
Find whatever works for you and stick to it.
No, an explanation like, well, it's my preference. I choose to date a guy from the island. It's fine. It's your exclusive preserve.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no fight inside. Okay.
No fight. Nobody's fighting.
All right. For the record, let's just go to the trivia. We have just about a minute to end the show right now. So you have a few questions. And there's a Super Eagles jersey up for grabs.
Okay.
In support of Super Eagles, obviously.
Don't ask me difficult questions.
That's the idea.
Hey, you're a radiographer, medical. Do you know what it takes?
I haven't practiced in how many years?
But
I'm just saying
that 5 years.
I'm saying it takes a lot of work to even get that certificate. So, first question is, when will the president's term elapse? What year will the president's term elapse? The current president. Yeah, the first term.
First term is 4 years, right? So. Is it not? It's 4 years, but they usually go 2 terms, and nobody has ever gone 1 term.
So when will the first term elapse?
He said last year. That was.
So 4 years, you got that actually.
Yeah, 4 years.
Who's the IG of police?
I do not know that man. I'm so sorry. That's just the truth. I don't know.
Nigeria has a Nobel laureate. What's his name?
Nigeria has what?
A Nobel laureate. What's his name?
Again, I do not know. I'm in entertainment. Ask me about entertainment. How? Is okay. You know what? I need to come and ask you about. Let me ask you about radiology and let's see if you can answer the question. So what part of the body goes in first when you want to do a CT scan?
So this
Tell
is the
me.
part where you give them back, I imagine.
No, because you're asking me things that are not in my field.
She already
You're
said-
asking things that are not in
She
my
already
it's
said
general-
she's
it's
naturally
general
combat
question.
ready.
So let me give you the clue to the
Always.
Nobel laureate. He's into literature. He's got the iconic white, grey hair. I think he's actually white.
He's not afraid of
yeah.
basbos from young people.
Yeah, he's not afraid of basbos from young people. He's a professor, the Nobel laureate.
Is it Wole Soyinka?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Look
put
at
your
me
hands
just being
together.
smart.
All right, we'll have to thank you so much. You still get the Super Eagles jersey.
Oh, thank
because
you.
got the
You're
Nobel
very
laureate,
generous. Thank
right?
you so much.
And please wear it when you're watching the match tomorrow, so that
I will.
And take a
I
picture.
will.
Take a picture.
I will.
with and post with the hashtag CTV Morning Brief.
Okay.
that'll be
I
kind.
will.
Doyinsola David, thank you so much. It's been an
you
absolute
for
pleasure
having
speaking
me.
with you. You
Thank
have a TV show you put on your social media as well?
Yes.
I will have asked you to ask us questions, but we have to run.
But you haven't
right
watched
now.
it, so you wouldn't even get it right. So
I
it's
have
okay.
watched it actually.
Okay,
So
we'll
you
say
need to
so.
apologize for that. Doyinsola David, thank you so much for your time. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure
Thank
having you
you.
on the show. Whew. So there you go. That's the show for this morning. We have to run literally right now. I'm Kayode Okikiolu.
And Jeffrey Uzongo, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Indeed, we'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you so much for being our companion today. I am Bukola Koka.